Okay, go ahead. What? We'll leave our... So Sean and Lane are monitoring the results. If you guys want to go back and find out what an update is, that is fine. Just don't come anywhere near me, please. We don't want to know until... We don't want to know until the very end. Is Holly on? All right, Jules, come over there.
Yes.
All right. As we said, tonight's all about volunteer appreciation, because if we didn't have you guys, we are not even in a competitive race tonight. And we're going to acknowledge quite a few people tonight, but we're also going to we're just going to give a lot of thanks. So bear with us. I can already promise you that you're probably going to see a side of me that you don't normally see. I had trouble writing this tonight, and I didn't even write it really. I was just writing notes. Can you guys hear me? Okay, good. So I'm going to read some of it, and then we'll ad-lib some of it. So many people to thank that there's no way that we can name each person individually. In fact, I should not even try to do so at the risk of forgetting someone. So to start off with a blanket, heartfelt thank you to everyone who gathered signatures from the petition, who followed and liked our Facebook post, who sent us a text when you felt that you were led to do so, and it was always the perfect timing. You put a yard sign in your yard, or helped place a large yard sign, the 6x3, and more importantly, you continue to move them and to mow around them, and didn't throw them away. You gave financially, you gave of your time and your talent. If you hosted a meet and greet, if you stuffed and addressed envelopes, if you walked doors, delivered signs, I can't even read my writing. If you helped spread our story, and most importantly, so many of you prayed for us. From the bottom of our heart, we thank you. Because each and every part of that is why we're here tonight. We are not here tonight without every person, as we said. This started on January 17th of 2022. And to think what we've accomplished in 5 months is almost unbelievable. So as I said, at the risk of forgetting someone, please don't be offended if I forgot. What I'm going to go is with a few memorable things that have happened over the last 5 months. Number one, I want to thank Shane Porter. Shane Porter was very gracious to us for a meet and greet. He gave us the food, he gave us the room when we were just starting out so that we could have a fundraiser. And that's why we're here tonight, is because he was so gracious to us, and we wanted to show our gratitude to him. I don't even think he's here tonight, is he? Is he still on the road?
No, okay.
He's still on the road, so if you have a chance to tell Shane thank you. I'm going to try to go down the list here. Tim and Cindy Cervenka, Rachel Crandall, and Terry and Mark Schmidt. All three of those people hosted a meet and greet for us. And again, those meet and greets were huge. So a lot of people don't like the meet and greets. That I found out a lot of people in the political world don't like the meet and greets because they think they're not fun, they're not worth the time. But each time we would have 30 to 35 people there. And the way I look at it is if 35 people are happy with you and they go out and tell 10 people, that starts to multiply real quick. So we are so grateful that they did that. Brian and his team from Victory, you guys don't know them, but Victory was our marketing organization that Tony recommended to us. We got to know them fairly well. Jilly got to know Brian better than I did through an interview. But they were very well organized, if you will. But they also learned how to work with me. As we'll come back, and I don't want this to be about our campaign. I really want to focus on Trent. Why does this thing go in and out? Where is Trent? There. Am I doing something wrong? So Victory, it was the third mailing, I think, wasn't it, Jules? And if you guys had noticed that the political world was all about negative mailing, and they were doing our putting our proof together for the third mailing, and we went back and forth. We fought. I mean, we literally fought on the phone because Julie and I didn't want it, and they toned it down. They toned it down. They toned it down. But they said you got to do a negative contrast. You got to do a negative contrast. And I finally caved. Julie did not. I finally caved. That frickin' piece went out, and that's what launched my opponent's campaign, was that mail piece. If we didn't mail that mail piece, he wouldn't have had a radio ad, he wouldn't have had a digital ad, he wouldn't have had anything, because they secretly recorded me when I was speaking one time, and I said I would not go negative. So even though it wasn't negative per se, it was a contrast, they twisted it. And from that point on, though, we had a stern talk with Brian and his team, and they respected us, and we said no more negative mailings. And I really think that turned the tide of the campaign. We're going to find out how well it worked here in a couple hours. We were either right or they were right.
Yep.
I think we're right. If nothing else, we went positive. And we stayed positive.
Yep.
The next three people, I'm going to ask them to at least raise their hand. Angie, Stephanie, and Roxy. These three kept our office running for the last 5 months, and I was usually pretty calm and cool and under control. Angie would get a little feisty sometimes, and then they would have to deal with it. But guys, you have no idea. I can't thank them enough. They kept our business going. They truly kept our business going for the last 5 months, and I just can't say thank you enough. So, the people that stuffed and addressed envelopes, to give you an example, there's a lot of people in here that did that. If any of you received Julie's mailing on the last mailing of the piece, we got in a box 5,000 letters that were trifolded and 5,000 blank envelopes. And we had to have those dressed and stuffed, and Julie orchestrated with everyone else's response. That was sent out in 2 days. 5,000 letters sent that were addressed, stuffed, and mailed in less than 2 days. That's amazing. I'm going to go through these next ones kind of fast, but they know how dear they are to us. The Ozark group, that they stepped up and answered the call many, many times, and they were just encouraging, and it's a group that we get to go and have a great time with, and they proved that they were more than just a good time. They really stepped up and helped us. The Sauk Valley Freedom Fighters, which if you're part of the Sauk Valley Freedom Fighters, but that's a group that we started. Stephanie, Cynthia, and Terry, and Angie's part of that. We're going to come back to you guys. But we got about 3,000 members in the group that we started 2 years ago. And our sole purpose is to restore our individual freedoms. So they've been amazing. The people I just mentioned, Stephanie, Cynthia, Angie, and Terry couldn't be with us, but if you guys would raise your hands. Raise your hands. So this is going to sound strange, but sometimes they would be the last people that I would text at night and the first people that we text in the morning. And if Julie knew that we were probably texting at 10:30, if she had an ounce of jealousy, she would have been upset.
We text her too.
Huh?
We text her too. We have our own group text with Julie.
I did not know that. But I'll tell you what, if you guys ever want to go to battle with someone, those three ladies right there and Terry, go to battle with them. Our wonderful dinner club sitting at this table here. Some of our dearest friends. Again, you guys answered the call when we needed you. You text us I didn't ask you to, but I would get texts from you at the most opportune times, and we needed encouragement. And I'm sure you're there for Julie. You guys are dear, dear friends, and we thank you for everything. Our Harvest Time Bible Church family, our Life Group family, Jeannie Fisher, who became our video guru. Where is she? So any of the I call them goofy videos, and that's not very a kind word, but they were different videos than what most people had. Jeannie started sending those to us, and And after about the third one, I said, well, that one's kind of cool. And Julie sent it on to the people, Victory, and they said, yeah, that's kind of cool. So they started posting them. So it's those kind of things that brought a little different flavor to our Facebook post. Amber Goldie, who was here before, I can't say enough about her, but she really helped. She's been with us for over 22 years. She's just been a bedrock in our friendship and our foundation of everything that we've accomplished. So I'm going to try to speed through these because I know you guys are getting bored. Lane, where's Lane?
Right here.
Lane joined our group a couple weeks ago, probably 4 weeks ago. He's actually employed by Tony and Mike Tomes, correct?
Yep.
But they would lend him to us. It sounds bad, and he would go out and walk doors. And Lane's very intelligent. He's very strong, and we had a learning curve. And what I come to find out is these kids, and I call them kids, I mean they are, and I'm going to get to them. I referred to him as kid one time, and he said to me, "Don't refer to me as a kid. I'm pretty smart." Paraphrasing. And I thought, you know what? These guys are amazing on the knowledge that they have, on how the system works, on how the political system works, and they have an intuitiveness of the whole system. So Lane, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, because you went down and walked Port Byron on his own. And you're going to hear me say something here at the end. And Lane was a very big part of that on walking doors. To my dear friend Sean. Sean joined us probably about 6-7 weeks ago. Sean almost quit the same day that he joined us. I don't know. I think it has something to do with our office. It has bad aura, or I just didn't want to give up control. I did not want to give up control, and he was taking control. But the bottom line is, he's now become part of our adopted family. He walked in the house last night. He grabbed a steak that we had grilled. He ate it like he just belonged there. He's really become a dear friend, and him and Lane together have become two people that we just count on. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you guys. If we win this, which I think hopefully we will, you two are a super huge part of it. Julie just reminded me that you don't care about the thank yous. All you want is a win bonus.
Through that.
If anybody wants to talk to Sean, he's a Reagan nut. He knows everything about Reagan. He runs a Reagan home in Tampico. He just got called, if I can divert a little bit, he just got called by the mayor of
Grantham in the United Kingdom.
In the United Kingdom. They're Margaret Thatcher's people. So Margaret Thatcher's gone, but they're doing like an autobiography on her, right? They call this kid, I'm sorry, gosh. They call this young man. He's meeting with them when?
September.
In September. They're flying over here to meet with him, and they're looking to form a sister city with Tampico, and Sean is the main contact with the people from England to set up a Reagan, Margaret Thatcher. It's an amazing story. I'm telling you, these guys are amazing in their own right. They're not here, so I won't spend much time, but Liz Buckwalter from Morrison, who is she was the one that I leaned on. She's Tony's right-hand person, and Tony McCombie. Tony McCombie is probably one of the sweetest people you'll ever meet, and one of the people that I cussed out the most in my life. But I'm going to save the speech for Tony because, Lord willing, we're going to have a celebration. I'm going to acknowledge her, but she not only ran our campaign, she ran her campaign, and how many others, Sean?
Many others.
Yeah.
Another handful.
And I had no idea that this was going on until about halfway through ours, and then something clicked. But she was running multiple campaigns, so not only is she a very well-respected representative, she's very, very well-respected within the Republican Party, and people listen to her. So I finally started listening to her. So my family. First to my dad, who was gracious enough to give us a video. And he gave us a video that he talked about his time in the Marines in Vietnam. And because of that, we made him a Facebook phenom. But seriously, people watched that on Facebook, and it was very well received. And I heard him say things that I'd never heard in 57 years. So, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for sharing that. And also thank you for going out and weed eating my sign when I asked you to. To Brian and Dawn Teisman, who is Julie's brother and sister-in-law, you guys were amazing from the very beginning. You participated in the parades. You got us things. You got us signs down in Port Byron. You really helped spread the word down there. And for that, we're so thankful. Addison and Lauren, you guys were a big part of that also. You guys just jumped on board, and we appreciate that. So I got 7 of them. Some of them don't care, some of them do. Well, we got 7 now, I'm sorry. But to our grandchildren. We're kind of the grandparents that are hands-on. And since January, we've been MIA. And for that, I'm sorry. We missed some of your games. Yeah, because it ain't better. But I'm sorry I missed your games. I'm sorry I missed your gymnastics. I'm sorry we didn't make it out to Alaska. Bowling. We missed Jacob's bowling, state bowling tournaments. And you guys have been so supportive. We'll make it up to you, we promise. To our children, usually parents are supposed to encourage your children and support them. But through this whole time, our children have supported us. Our boys financially supported us. Our boys took the sword up and they fought the same fight. They would stand up for us. They would take people on. And I just thought, we're so lucky to have 2 sons like that love democracy and love our Constitution and are willing to fight for it side by side. So we thank you. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you. Holly, who's in Alaska, she's on Facebook, or whatever. What the hell is she on? She's on FaceTime. I'm going to step back. I just seen Rachel come in. Rachel got special recognition tonight, and Doug, thank you so much for hosting me and read for us in Prophetstown.
No problem.
From the bottom of her, thank you. You guys may not remember, we were building up, and our Facebook was to go live. And I was so excited about this. I don't even know what the heck that meant, but it was going to go live. And I shared it, I think, with the Ozarks group. That was the first group I sent it to. And Dahlstrom sends back to me, says, "I can't share it." I said, "What the heck?" So I do something different. I call the people. I'm going to drag this all the way longer than it's supposed to be. Bottom line is, 3 times I called the management people. They couldn't get it fixed. I just hung up the phone. I'm almost in tears. And I call Holly in Alaska. I said, "Holly, I can't get this thing to share. What the heck's going on?" And I don't know, it was like 2 minutes later, she called back and she said, "It's fixed. Tell me to do this, this, and this." And voila, it was fixed. And there were so many times I turned to her during this campaign to help me with technical issues. And she's out in stinking Alaska. And she would stop doing whatever she was doing. And sometimes I called before she got up. I know, because there's 3 hours behind us. So from the bottom of my heart, sweetheart, thank you. I'm not going to get through this. Thank you. We truly feel that God called us into this. She's walked every step with me. We walked over 6,500 doors. That means we knocked on 6,500 doors. Now Lane and Sean, Liz and Tony, and so many others out here helped. But together we knocked on 6,500 doors. And if you know Jules, exercise is not in the top 10 list. And nor sweating. And I know this is volunteer, and I'm sorry, I'm going to focus on her just a little bit. There's a turning point in the campaign where we had a morning where we both almost started, we had a nervous breakdown in the closet, remember? And she looked at me and she said, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? And I said, I don't know. I don't know what to do. And we really didn't. We just stood there and we stared at each other. And I don't even know what changed after that. I really don't. Is that when Goofball Sean came in?
That's the power of
A
prayer.
little bit after that, but guys, if you're ever fortunate enough to have a wife as dedicated and supportive as Julie, she's been awesome. So, from the bottom of my heart to each and every one of you, we're going to find the results out here pretty shortly. There is a little bit of me that's nervous, but you guys made some good statements that regardless of what happens, we got our message out about pro-life. We got our message out that we can end taxpayer-funded abortions, and we got our message out that we should bring our school choices back to local school boards. And Angie gave me some words that I didn't think about. And I know I didn't ask you if I could share these, but you said to me one day in the office that what we've done is inspiring other people to get involved, to take a stand. And if we've learned anything over the last 2 years with our government overreach, we need to be involved. And no matter what you think you are, what value you have, if you have a message and you have friends are important. We can change this world. We can change this state. We can change this community. From the bottom of our heart, we thank you guys. Let's have a great night of celebration. Thank you so much.
Nothing yet.
Wait.
No, it won't be for a while.
Oh. Where's Gary? Yeah, so, see, this is why I try not to name people. Because Gary was our parade walker, and I'm sorry, right there. We have parade walkers. Gary would drive his side-by-side down to us, and he would... Gary threw out a lot of candy too. We all did. But Gary, thank you. Because Gary's niece is Sue Resin. Senator Sue Resin down in Morris, right?
Yep.
And from day one, Gary jumped on board with us and he said whatever we needed, he would help. So thank you, Gary. Thanks for bringing your side-by-side. Guys, it's time to party. Let's have a great time.